Welcome back to GDQ Hotfix. This is Crosshair, the show that brings you runs with bullets. First-person shooters, third-person shooters, shmups, bullet hells, lasers, rockets, grenades, paintballs, and shotgun shells. If it's got bullets in it, it's got a home here at Crosshair. My name is Dangerous, I'm your host, and if you think you have a run that qualifies for this or any of our other GDQ Hotfix shows, head on over to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix and fill out that run submission form. And who knows, you might end up on a future episode of the GDQ Hotfix. And just as a quick reminder from last week, I think a lot of people were distracted last week with the little desync issue that we had. So I'm putting out another call to action. If you or someone you know runs a shmup or a bullet hell, I'm trying to put together a shmup and bullet hell episode of Crosshair. I say it during the intro every week or every show, first-person shooters, third-person shooters, shmups, and bullet hells. So I want to put together a shmup and bullet hell episode. And so if you run one of those, go on over to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix, fill out that run submission form. I want to see those submissions coming in. That said, today's episode is in a kind of an interesting theme we're going to try out. I always wanted to do a show themed around specific engines, specific game engines. One of these days, maybe we'll do a Source engine show. Who knows? But for today, we're going to try out one of my favorite engines with a lot of games that I've played on it, the id Tech engine, also known as the Quake engine. It was the original home of Doom and Quake, but even to this day, it's still being used. Doom Eternal was made on the id Tech engine, just a much later variant of it. So we've got two runs lined up for you today. We've got Return to Castle Wolfenstein being run by Heroes 5K, which was on the id Tech 3 engine, and Rage, 2011's Rage, is going to be run on a slightly later version, the id Tech 4 engine. I'm pretty sure I have my engine generations correct there. I'm pretty sure. Someone can correct me in chat if I'm mistaken about that. But we've got two id Tech runs, which is why today's episode is titled "It's Gonna Be a Good Day." I'm so sorry. Please don't click off the stream. I didn't mean it. Heroes, please take the mic away from me before I say something else stupid. Show us Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Alright, hello everyone. My name is Heroes and I'm presenting you Return to Castle Wolfenstein. It is a Quake 3 engine game from 2001, and actually I just about a week ago lost my world record, so I might be running this game in the future. Right, the timer's about to start as soon as I'm gonna hit the arrow from this cutscene, which is gonna be in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So there's gonna be a lot of stress that I'm gonna explain throughout the run. Starting off with lowering my frame rate to 37, because in this game a lot of things are based on the frame rate.
Yes.
For example, the stamina and also the fire rates. So at the beginning of each level I'm gonna lower my frame rate. So it's gonna consume less stamina, and also it's gonna be the other way around. If I'm running on a higher frame rate, it's gonna consume more stamina. And that's why we also higher. 1 second. Okay, this is already gonna be a bad start. As soon as the alarm went off, it's gonna be much more of a hassle. But yeah, also to increase our fire rates later on, we're gonna use a higher frame rate. And also you're gonna be able to jump just a tiny bit higher on a higher frame rate. So the first two levels aren't gonna be that special. But we just grabbed a few grenades from the shelf. We're gonna use them. Gonna use one right here. And this way we're just gonna shoot around to kinda make the enemies come out. And I probably just missed a little bit of my timing right here. This game has a lot of objectives that prevent us from the game finishing a little bit earlier than we wanted. So on this level we're gonna have to kill like 10 out of 11 enemies and then hit a bunch of triggers so we can proceed. This was the first area where we have to do this. We're gonna grab some backup HP here. And in the next room we also have to kill a few enemies so we can proceed. Gonna have to kill those enemies. Gonna hit the trigger right here. So those two guys come out. And there are also a bunch of RNG factors in this game. For example, as soon as we go back outside, there's gonna be a bridge where sometimes 2 or sometimes 3 enemies spawn. Because it's gonna be better if there's just 2 on the bridge, like right now. So we're gonna minimize the risk of getting shot. And also the nade thing that I mentioned that I haven't finished talking about, we're gonna use grenades to cause explosions. Explosions in this game will cause the player to lower their gravity a bit. So we're gonna utilize this a lot. And we're gonna have this
mechanic for like grenade jumping.
Yeah, it's like it depends. You can use the grenade as like a damage boost and also just for the lower gravity mechanic.
Gotcha.
So this level is actually one of the first levels that actually has a trick in it, which is going to be a little bit more difficult for the average person. And we're also going to use a completely new mechanic that we haven't mentioned yet. First of all, I'm going to hopping on top of this train. Unfortunately, we barely missed it. There we go. Alright, so so there usually is a push trigger that would push us off right here. We're just gonna safe load. So we literally just skip the push trigger. And the barrel we just shot caused an explosion, which gave us a little bit of height while jumping up there. We're also gonna use 2 more grenades on the next level to throw them at an NPC. So he can, so we'll run away from those grenades and skips a bit of his walking animations. Which is gonna be this NPC right here. His name is Castle.
Follow me. We must get you inside.
So right at the beginning of the next level, I'm gonna do 1 safe load to skip a few frames of a style lock. Do 1 safe load here. First grenade.
This is my house.
Second grenade.
If you go down these stairs.
There we go. And we're also going to grab this chair with the 3rd arm we're gonna get, which looks like this.
I regret that.
Normally you would only be able to hold the chair with a secondary or a knife. But if you equip a secondary and then switch your weapons and pick up the chair at the same time, you're just gonna summon your 3rd hand.
Nice.
Oh, please do not kill me.
The American! Oh, someone's there.
So we're gonna use this chair to place it here to get over the wall. Oh my god, I'm moving the chair around. Just like that. Nerves kicking in already.
Very nice.
This literally just saves us the time of going around. And now we're gonna start shooting this doorway, and we're gonna go around to grab 2 dynamites that we need for the first boss fight later on. And now we're about to enter the catacombs, which has about 2 major skips that save a lot of time. One of them is gonna utilize the grenades to lower our gravity. The first one is gonna be the gate skip, where we're gonna use one of those zombies to prevent the gate from closing, which is very spawn dependent. So this is, for example, a really good spawn. Might have messed up the timing here, see if I get it. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late. Which should be a time loss of around 10 to 15 seconds. But it's fine, it's fine. I'm gonna get out grenades and throw it right here. First try, let's go.
Nice.
This pretty much skips a whole sequence of having to wait for 2 minutes to spawn and also having an annoying fight.
That looked like a really tricky jump.
I'm gonna pre-place one grenade here. We're gonna kill 3 zombies in this room. This makes this mini boss like fire zombie spawn. We're just gonna use 1 grenade here. And then we can just jump and push this lever instead of killing him. And that's about it for the first crypt. Now we're gonna move on to crypt 2.
Well done.
Thank you. So this level actually doesn't really have something special, I believe. We're just gonna use 2 grenades at the end to insta-kill 2 zombie knights. We're gonna have 1 fire zombie here again. We're not gonna deal with them though, we're just gonna have to push 1 button here. I'm also gonna do 2 safe loads here to skip a little bit of waiting time. And place 2 grenades here. So we're gonna kill those 4 as fast as possible, and then we're also gonna do 3 more safe loads here. So usually what safe loading does is it doesn't just skip triggers, it also skips a tiny bit of frame time of different like dialogue times or moving animations. And you can also negate fall damage while safe loading. As once your player isn't fully loaded in, he's just immune to literally everything. But yeah, safe loading also comes with a little bit of risk, because sometimes if you safe load too much in this game, the game just decides to randomly crash.
Nice.
So these are the 2 grenades we place, and we got the insta-gib. And now we're back into a little safe load simulator. Alright, so the next level in Church is featuring a new type of enemy called the Elite Guards. And those Elite Guards, those women, are very annoying since they have a very annoying rolling ability, which make their headshot hitbox literally almost disappear, and they're gonna be unhittable. And once they do that, it's gonna be very annoying. And to my luck, it's also the game's objective to kill all of those Elite Guards on this level. So we're also gonna use this sniper rifle to shoot around to kind of provoke them as NPCs react to bullet sounds and bullet impacts. So they're gonna be much closer. Got those 4 enemies fairly quick. Oh, that was an unfortunate reload. Should have killed her first. Alright. So in the next room, sometimes... Okay, this Elite Guard just alerts the second one. Which means like as soon as she enters the room, she alerts all the other Elite Guards. And then those Elite Guards go out of their spawns. And I won't be able to pre-fire them anymore, which make them unpredictable. But fortunately, I got the kill and no one was alerted, could pre-fire anyone. And actually, this is going to be our first boss from a total of 3 bosses from this game. This is where we collected the dynamites for. We're gonna pre-place 2 dynamites here. 2 more grenades for the boss. Boss should be dead with those 2 grenades. We're gonna use the other grenades to nade all the other zombies. Best case scenario is everyone's dying from the grenades. Unfortunately, even 3 of them survived, but it still was very decent. And that was also the first chapter out of 5 chapters in total, and the first boss out of 3.
Oh, wow.
And now we're having the first cutscene and also the longest cutscene of the game. So we have a good amount of time to relax.
Nice. I can read a donation then if we got time.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, chat. So while we're watching this cutscene, if you would like, you can head on over to the official GDQ Discord and add the Hotfix role, where you can keep tabs on upcoming events, talk with staff like the other Hotfix showrunners and myself, and more. Use !Discord in chat for more info about that.
Well, gentlemen, it's been 48 hours since our man Blazkowicz returned from Castle Wolfenstein. That's given us ample time.
Alright, so the first level in this chapter is gonna be the first stealth level as well, which means, since it's stealth, as soon as the alarm goes off, it means that we're gonna fail the mission and we have to restart. So we need to do our best to not get detected and no alarm goes off. So we're just gonna kill those 2 guys right here just to be safe. We're gonna shoot around this direction to 1 tower guy, so he kind of gets a little bit like when he reacts to the bullets, he's gonna be a little bit confused, and I should be able to walk just past by him. I'm gonna hit a trigger here early to make the truck. I don't know if you saw the truck at the beginning, but we need to actually wait for a truck. So we're gonna use the time in the tunnel here to just come back to your safe load simulator. Early on, when people were starting to run this game, this level was thought to be like a complete auto-scroller because no one really has used the safe loading things again. So this level was practically an auto-scroller until like maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Someone's there.
We're also gonna grab a new fancy weapon, which is a sniper rifle, which is a very powerful one-shot weapon, and also the weapon's the objective to pick up the weapon. Oh my god. We might be screwed. Maybe we're fine. Let's see. Just gonna head back to our safe load simulator again. But yeah, shooting, like if the enemies are shooting around, it's not that big of a deal. It's more riskier if you kill someone and there's a dead body. So seeing, like when a guard sees a dead body, it's gonna be more of a risk of an alarm as when there's people shooting around. But this guy at the door was a necessity to kill. This guy right here is gonna be alright, we can dodge him. And there goes Forrest, so Forrest actually could be a really, really painful run killer. So a lot of runs have died here already. And that's also not gonna be the only run killer in this run. But yeah, Forrest can be really, really annoying. So we're gonna enter a rocket base now, which actually has 2 cool strats as well. And we're also gonna be grabbing another chair again. We just wanna go and slip through this elevator. If we're not gonna hit the right timing, the elevator might crush us. But as we're trying to be as fast as possible, we can just slip through it.
This movement is so fluid. It's so good.
Yeah, I've been running this game for like almost 6 years now.
Oh, wow.
This was my first speedrun game that I picked up. And I also had like previous experience in Wolfen Lake games from like KZing and Counter-Strike
Gotcha.
and Half-Life.
Yep. That would do it.
Okay, so we're gonna do one safe load here to skip another trigger, which is a spawn trigger, which spawns just a bunch of scientists around here.
Launch will commence in 1 minute 30 seconds.
Also, you can drop down ladders really fast. If you look away, you would automatically fall down. You don't hold on to them. And if you look at it, you briefly grab it. So you can just fall down and then quickly grab the ladder to like avoid everything. Ooh, this was also a very difficult jump. You want to do it fast. Not only is it a risk to just miss the jump, but also if those enemies are shooting at you, you might just get too much of the damage knocked back and automatically fall down. And here's a second chair again. Gonna use the chair to climb up here.
Oh, wow. Nice. Someone in chat actually had a pretty interesting question. I figure since this is a pretty old game at this point, this probably isn't really the case anymore, but is quick saving, quick loading like hardware dependent, or is it like pretty much the same amount of time regardless of like what modern day rig you're running?
It should be pretty much the same amount of time, maybe like very minor differences, but it should be about the same.
Much. Yeah. Typically, a more modern game would see a lot bigger of a difference, but since this game is really old, it's probably not taking up too many system resources.
Right, also this level could be a run killer too. You probably saw me jumping into a bunch of enemies, which can be really, really fatal. I'm actually gonna go for a little bit of backup HP, even though we do not really need it, but I just want to be safe. After destroying this radar, we're gonna do one safe load. Saves just a tiny bit of time. And we're actually heading towards the last level of the second chapter, which is not gonna feature a boss. The next boss is gonna come on the 4th chapter, and the final boss is gonna be the 5th chapter. So we're gonna use one more grenade to give us a damage boost, and I completely missed my strafing, but we still were able to get a little bit of speed. So we're gonna use one grenade to get the low gravity again. Actually 2 times to get over that gate early.
Nice.
And there's a very funny sniper on top of that building. In most cases, when we do not have enough HP, which is gonna be the most cases, we might be able to get one shot by him. And this game is, this enemy is literally, he might be cheating. He might be using aimbots. Just like that. This is the biggest nightmare. Just trying to climb up the ladder and getting shot immediately. And unfortunately, if you die on this level, the music literally just stops playing, which is very unfortunate since it's one of my favorite soundtracks.
Oh no.
We're gonna use one safe load here again to negate the fall damage. This game feels very uncanny when there's no music around. Literally just sound effects. But at least we've finished the chapter fairly quick.
Well done.
Right, going into chapter 3.
Come in.
Which is also going to be a fairly short chapter. Gonna start off escorting a tank. Gonna have to kill a few enemies around here. Gonna pre-place one grenade up here. And I think I might have missed my grenades.
The Kaiser extraction team just ahead of us. Report
So I might to visit this guy up in that building. Normally would kill those two guys and then drop down again. But I think I might have missed him, so I just need to go up there and kill that guy again.
excellent work. Now keep moving.
Also, this is gonna feature the first out-of-bounds section of this game. The first and the last one as well, which I wouldn't even call out of bounds, which is like, it's like very short. And we just missed our barrel. I'm gonna jump on that roof.
Whoa.
Jump around here. Just like that
Oh, that's
basically was
cool.
the out of bounds section,
That's cool.
which skips a lot of auto scroller from this level. Also, we're gonna scope in for this enemy, since for some reason if you scope in into a weapon, it's gonna make double damage, which I don't know whose idea that was to implement, dealing double damage only because you scoped in the weapon. But yeah, just be like that. So we got a little bit of time to gather some resources, some HP and armor, while we wait for the tank. So this is partially an auto-scroller. You can save load at specific sections, but if you save load on the wrong spot, on the wrong times, you might even lose time. So this level is not very much researched in terms of save loading to skip time. And here we just wait for the tank to arrive. Also, the next level we're gonna head into is, if you casually play this game, the next level is gonna be the longest level of the game. But speedrun-wise, we are literally going to make it the shortest level of the game.
As we do.
Ironically.
Good luck on your mission.
I don't even remember the whole level, what it's like to play casually, since I'm only speedrunning it. So we're just gonna kill this guy, jump onto this wall, which you wouldn't normally do. Grab that book. Oh no. Oh no.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Where have I gotten stuff into it? Oh no, I don't think I've ever been here.
Oh wow. Wait,
Let me just restart the level.
Does that mean this has never happened before?
This has never happened before. Normally I would just restart the level.
We had it happen.
I don't have a backup for this. This usually doesn't happen. Also, I'm not sure if I even did a quick save or not. I forgot. I just could have quick loaded. But yeah, the nerves, I blame them. Alright, only 2 more levels left for this chapter. This one is just gonna be a little bit of movement heavy. Gonna grab a chair again. We don't need the third arm for this one though. Gonna throw a nade here, so this guy won't shoot our chair. Gonna do another grenade here, so we can reach up here. And we just completely overjumped the putt.
Oh.
Also, we're gonna use the Panzerfaust to make an explosion and give us a little bit of damage boost. Normally, if you get fall damage, you have like a little stun and cannot move freely. Okay, so this elevator is gonna be a safe load simulator again, and we're gonna have time to check our weapon, see if everything is reloaded. I just safe load all the way down.
Ah, wunderbar. I see you.
Just gonna get rid of the enemies really quick.
Just nuke that guy into oblivion.
Also, this gap is really, really huge if we don't fall down. Normally this bridge is closed. We can just jump over here. And you can literally save a lot of time of like letting the bridge actually down. So this is gonna be a little bit more movement heavy again. We're just gonna jump here. Make a strafe jump here. Just gonna save a lot of time as well. And there we go, that was chapter 3.
I will not
Hold on.
divulge any information to you. They're going to Norway. Coordinates are
Someone said you're playing this like Trepang too.
degrees east.
I've seen Tripping too, I think.
I mean, the movement is like really cool. Like it's not reminiscent of Trepang, but it's like just the movement is so fluid and clean, and it's like very, very nice. So, yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was as responsive as it was like in Gold Source or Source games, like in Half-Life.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay, so we're gonna use a grenade here to give us a good amount of speed boost. And we just lost all the momentum and speed, unfortunately. And the guy we just killed was one of those guys who would call an alarm early.
I have had it.
Ah, gotcha.
And we want to minimize the risk of getting an alarm here. It's not gonna be like we're gonna lose the level if there's an alarm, but it's just gonna be less annoying if I don't have like 100 people shooting at me. Unfortunately, since we had an alarm in this room, normally I could do like a Mario jump on 2 idle soldiers, but unfortunately they were aware of me already because of the alarm. And actually, chapter 4, only 2 more levels to go. We're also gonna use safe loading again to avoid a death trigger. There's gonna be those lasers. We can just safe load through them and completely avoid a death trigger, which would be an Isaac anomaly. We don't have to go around and disable all those traps. And we also see 2 new types of enemies, which are the Loper and a Super Soldier. Here we're just gonna lean in and open the door early, just through the death trap, and I just messed up. The door just closed right in front of me, unfortunately. I was not quick enough, but there we go.
Nice.
Just gonna put everyone in flames. I'm gonna shoot those super soldiers just a tiny bit. Oh, that hit was very, very unfortunate. We really tanked a whole rocket right there. I might go for some backup HP. But of course, not going for it would be faster, but I think I'm gonna be safe here. So I'm gonna use the grenade to push away one super soldier. Which should not Okay, it was not as I expected. It did not care at all. Okay, so this is gonna be boss 2. We're gonna have a fairly difficult jump over here with the grenades. So we're gonna throw the grenade here, and we have to slide off this lamp in order to get over here. And getting this first try is actually really, really good. So we can literally skip. Like, first of all, we have a really good position to defeat the boss. And we also save time by not having to wait for a door to open, and we don't not have to go around. And that was the second boss of the game. And also the 4th chapter of this game. Alright, we're about to enter Harburg Dam.
A little beat up, sir, but nothing.
This level, if I'm on a good pace,
Just finished with him in debriefing.
I'm really gonna be ancient about this level. It's gonna be a really difficult jump right at the beginning, just also a huge time save. And we got it first try. Let's go.
Nice. Well done. That looked really hard.
It's actually not that hard. It's just like most of the time the nerves are getting to me. But yeah,
I got you.
if I'm on a good run and I see it's like the last chapter, my BPM is gonna hop around 60 or 70 more.
Real
My heart
low.
rate is going crazy on this. Also, at the start of each chapter, we're gonna get a clean and fresh loadout, so that's why we're having this Tesla gun now, which was like the boss 2's main weapon. And we're gonna enter Village 2, which is gonna be the second stealth level of this game, which again means once the alarm goes off, we're gonna lose it. But Village 2 is much more consistent than the forest stealth level. If you get all the timings right, it should be like fairly easy. Like if an alarm goes off, it's gonna be a skill issue for sure. Might be some foreshadowing. We just have to kill a bunch of officers here, so we can proceed to the exit. Actually, we're gonna be really loud for a stealth level, just to provoke some enemies, get them out of the position. We're also gonna cook a grenade up here and throw it up there, which is, if you don't hit the grenade, it's gonna be a run killer for sure. But it looks like we got it, and there's not gonna be any alarm. I should be pretty safe now. Okay, this officer. We just killed the right guys, especially those guys who are responsible for bringing the alarm. But this actually was a solid Village 2. Normally I would be struggling with this one here and then, but this one went fairly smooth.
Nice.
Also, we're gonna be having a really annoying RNG part here again. So this level features like 2 different scenarios. You can do it stealth, or you can do it like non-stealth, which is like called action. And if we are in the action state and the alarm goes off, there's gonna be one enemy that spawns with a venom. And this guy drops ammo, depending on like on the RNG. You get at least 25% of a weapon's full magazine. Like it's gonna be like between 25% and 100%. The more ammo you drop, the more time you actually can save with it, since it's a really powerful weapon. What are those guys doing jumping my head? But yeah, this ammo drop literally decides how much time you can save later on, which is a little bit annoying. Alright, so the next level is also gonna be a little bit of the more annoying ones. We're gonna have a very difficult strat with a grenade.
Oh.
And we are also gonna have an arena where we fight 2 super soldiers and sometimes you can easily soft lock on there. But I will get on to the soft lock when I'm in the arena. So I'm gonna cook a grenade right here. And we're gonna try to hit a perfect slope. And there we go.
Nice. Well done.
Just need to make sure all of our weapons are reloaded before we enter the arena. So this arena has like 2 states, like something like a state where the level checks if a player is inside the arena or outside. But sometimes the game thinks you're still inside the middle when you're actually outside, which can cause a soft lock. But this should be it actually. Okay, we didn't get the soft lock. Actually, in my now former world record run, I lost 15 seconds here due to the soft lock.
Oh, joy.
Just very unfortunate. If it wasn't for the 15 seconds that I lost, I still would have had the world record that I lost a week ago. But I will definitely get it back sooner or later.
How much did they beat you by?
I think it's 7 seconds.
Oh, wow, that's it. Holy cow.
Well, yeah, those 7 seconds. Generally, 7 seconds don't sound much, but like in speedrun terms, 7 seconds is actually a lot.
Oh, yeah. Especially with a run this short.
Okay, so when we just looked up and shoot that super soldier, normally he has a route to come like around this area to shoot us. But when we shoot up there, he's gonna break his road and just go back again. We are also gonna kill this guy because we need his flamethrower. Also, the enemies are just gonna be a little bit more difficult in the later levels. They mostly just get a little bit of more HP. You also see that they have like a little bit of different skin, like different textures, which indicates that they are a little bit stronger. But yeah, chapter 5 is like the whole chapter can be a run killer because of the difficulty. Just gonna play.
I love how the very last chapter does that.
Yeah. So we need to kill all those zombies in this room. Like the zombies either have to completely die or just have that like fall down state when they just drop down. Like they all have like a second chance where they just stand up again if you don't kill them immediately. Actually, I think I will also try a really difficult jump, which no one really does in the RPG, but actually saves like maybe 5 seconds.
Oh.
But if I don't get it, I just skip it. So we're gonna use the Panzerfaust here again to give us a little bit of boost. Use the flamethrower here to ignite all of those guys, and I'm at 64 HP. I think I'm not gonna try it. That's unfortunately too low.
I think it's a damage boost then.
So if you don't manage to kill these guys immediately, they just turn on their aim mode again and completely annihilate you. And also those goofy jumps make it really hard to hit them. And we are actually already entering the last level of the game with the final boss.
Oh, heck. Let's go.
Which is gonna be a really, really difficult boss fight. Why
do I get the feeling you're being sarcastic?
I also cannot hold my lot on this one. So we're just gonna wait here and lure the boss into this area. Because normally if you enter the arena, this exit behind you is gonna close and you're not able to go back in. There's like just a big rock dropping blocking the entrance. So we're just gonna stand here, lure him around the exit. And now we're gonna go out here, and this rock literally just crushes the enemy and instantly killing him.
Oh man, that's so good.
Yeah. And time is about to come up. Now, time.
GG's, well done.
So yeah, this boss fight is hilarious.
That was funny.
Well, yeah, that was Return to Castle Wolfenstein. I hope you really much enjoyed the run. If you want to run the game yourself, you can check out the speedrun.com page, check out our Discord. Everyone is really helpful. If you want to learn the game, you can also hop into my stream. Whether I'm playing this game or not, I'm always there to help you. But yeah, this was the run. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you, GDQ, for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for showing it off. This is a classic game, and it was a lot of fun to watch. So thank you for being here and showing it off for us. Folks, we are going to take a very short little break for you to, stretch your legs, get some water, grab a snack, do whatever you got to do. And when we come back, we're going to be featuring the angriest game that we've ever had on Crosshair, Rage. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to Crosshair here on the GDQ Hotfix. Folks, we're going to chug it right along to our next run in our episode titled, It's Gonna Be a Good Day, featuring id Tech engine speedruns. This is going to be a Crosshair first, actually. Up until now, every run we've shown here on Crosshair has been a run from a game I don't know, or maybe I've played like once or twice. But this is actually going to be the first run that I myself run, although I am not going to be doing the run myself. I brought in a goated runner to do this run, for which I will be able to actually provide commentary for once on my own show. So we've got Mr. Zenson here to show us Rage. Zen, take it away.
Hello, I'm Zen. I spent a concerning amount of time in this game, and I'm hoping for a good showcase today. And I brought Balaki for our commentary.
Balaki, that's you.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, we're ready whenever you are. Just
timer starts in
and then we can
3, 2, 1, go.
Alrighty, so yeah, Balaki and I'll probably be handling most of the commentary, so that way Zen can focus on the run, because this is actually it's a run that's very easy to struggle when you're trying to do commentary and do the run at the same time. It requires a lot of focus. At least it requires a lot of focus for me. Balaki, I don't know about you. Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of movement stuff. Yeah.
Hey, you! Over here!
Yeah, so right here, we're going to skip talking to Hollywood actor John Goodman. John Goodman is the voice actor for that character. And instead of sitting through the cutscene with him, we're going to apparently get shot by him. Yeah, so that's what happens when the skip goes wrong. So we're gonna reload and try that one more time. But basically, you can skip having to sit through the cutscene with him by jumping up here, jumping up here, there we go, and then jumping over this wall. And it's kind of tricky to do that. So there's a couple different setups. Zen went for the fast one that pretty much only he can do. Balaki and I resigned to the slower one because we're not as good as Zen. And that gets us over the wall. And you can see the reason why we have to jump over that wall the way we do is because if you go too far to the left, John Goodman just shoots you for no real reason, it seems. Just, yeah.
At least we think it's John Goodman. Who else would be shooting us?
So yeah, we went into the ghost hideout in order to deload this outer area. This is part of the skip with the cutscene, because if you don't deload the area and then reload it by leaving and re-entering, you actually are effectively soft locked. And there's the ghost hideout that we went to is not only is it the closest loading zone, it's actually the only one available to us. So we have to go to it, and we're going to be headed back there in a second. But in the meantime, time, we have to come over here. And normally people go through doors. However, in this case, we're just going to go through walls instead. Fun little quirks of the id Tech engine.
You're a big fan of paper clips, aren't you?
Oh, I love paper clips. So, by the way, are you muted in OBS?
I apparently was, and now I am not.
So this entire time, chat has not been hearing anything you've said. Luckily, I've been doing most of the commentary, so we didn't miss
exactly.
anything.
They were focused on you.
Yeah, so we didn't miss anything extremely important yet. But yeah, so by doing that little wiggle through the wall, we're able to talk to John Goodman and kind of reset the quest flag for this first quest that we're going to do. And John Goodman has asked that we come to the ghost hideout and completely clear it out. And so we are going to skip most everybody because quest flags are kind of funny in this mission. So Zen typically goes for a really cool jump here. Let's see if he gets it. Nice.
Perfect.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
I can't do that either.
It's just built different, man.
We're gonna be getting a lot of these. The Zen can do this, we cannot kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's truly a testament to how much time Zen has put into this game, and especially as well having experience with defrag more than anything. That kind of movement translates extremely well into this game.
Yeah, and at one point in time, Zen was, I think he said he was in the top 10 defrag players of the world, which you can definitely see in his movement because this is on the same engine as Quake 3. So,
I promise this will hurt.
ow! Oh God, he stabbed us. So this is where we get the defib mechanic. So this game is actually pretty hard, even on easy mode. It's still pretty challenging. And so the id Software team put a little defib mechanic in here, where if you die in the middle of combat, you basically can resuscitate yourself once, at least at the beginning of the game, and revive into the middle of the fight. And the thing that's kind of nice about that is we can use that to do some skips a little bit later on.
The trick with it is that it is a recharge, so we can only do it every so often. You've got to put some limitation onto it.
Yeah, you can't do it endlessly. And you'll see it pop up on the screen when we actually do it. So Zen's going to throw a nade here to kill those guys. Oh, that was interesting. Going to throw another nade here, kill them, and something's alive.
There we go. There's always one.
Yeah, there's always one. And that is the ghost hideout. So we only had to kill the guys in the very last room because those are the only ones that are actually tied to the quest flag. So now we can just leave and go back to John Goodman.
It's a trope that doesn't happen in a lot of missions, but it is a common way. Essentially, the mission trigger relies on only the last room being emptied. It happens with this, it happens with a later mission as well. And then 100%, one of the missions you don't see in this particular run, but we do. You can skip, I think it's upwards of 20, 30 enemies, because if you keep killing them, they keep respawning. But if you run past them, doesn't matter. What a jump.
That was... I clenched a little bit there, man. He's freaking me out. Yeah, so
there is full damage in this game.
Yeah. So fall damage is calculated in the very most bizarre way, where the fall damage is calculated where whatever the game thinks it should give you as fall damage at any given moment, based on maybe it hasn't had its fiber that morning or whatever, it just decides fall damage at random. Sometimes jumps that should absolutely kill you, you'll take like no damage, and then sometimes you'll fall off a curb and die. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it appears velocity isn't linear in this game, and that also applies to downward velocity. So it's just, but the calculation of that velocity doesn't seem to be, if it's not consistent, it's at least a very random curve.
Yep. Yeah, and you'll notice that something similar to Castle Wolfenstein that we just saw, and this, since they're both on id Tech, is they both utilize VQ3 strafe hopping And so a lot of people probably don't know exactly how strafe hopping works. And basically the short version is you just jump and fling yourself to one direction and hold the side button in the same direction, and it will actually build up your speed. And as long as you continuously switch sides as you go, you can build up more and more and more speed. And the thing that's kind of funny about that is you have to turn the mouse more and more and more the faster you go, which means at some point you would have to actually completely turn around in order to continue speeding up, which I just think is really funny.
Essentially, it's a very weird thing to try and visualize, but once you can visualize it, it makes the understanding of strafe hopping a lot easier. The way that Zen taught me was you imagine a circle around you, a complete circle, and there's little sections to the circle. So what you want to try to do is when you're jumping, you're turning into that section that makes you go faster, and then you keep switching sides and keep switching sides, and eventually those little zones that you're trying to move into, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, but also requires you to move your mouse more and more and more the faster you go. We are also capped at a certain speed. Base-wise, I believe Return to Castle Wolfenstein is 450, and Rage is 320. So we do move a little bit slower than what Return to Castle Wolfenstein allows.
Yeah. So Zen actually just did a little skip there. We call it extendo grabbing. And that's how he was able to interact with a lever from far away and grab the zip line from being like really far away from it. This is actually something that is tied specifically to the EdTech engine. So it's perfect that we're doing an engine themed episode. But this is something that you actually will see a lot more of in Doom 2016. It is actually possible even in Doom Eternal. So even the later games still do the same thing. That was interesting. Janice did not. There we go. But it's where you basically can zoom in with any kind of scoped weapon, and it will actually move your interact box forward enough that you can interact with something that's really far away. But it only does so for, I think it's like 1 or 2 frames. It's a very, very tight window to be able to do that.
And also happens only with the pistol. Can't do it with the sniper.
Yeah.
And I tested that in the 100% run, and for some reason, it's only the binoculars, and it also doesn't work with the shotgun. So with the DLC for this game, you get a short barrel shotgun, as is the case with Doom. But you can use the binoculars with the short barrel shotgun. Don't know why they thought that was the case. I think it's because the shotgun acts as a replacement for the pistol. But for whatever reason, you cannot extendo grab the shotgun. It only works with the pistol. So it's a very quirky bug.
There's another shortcut I can't do that Zen can. Jumping up on that wall. I can't do that.
There's a big one on the way back as well.
Yeah.
This would probably be a good time to talk about dialogue as well. What you may have noticed is Zen moving back and forth like he's doing right now. Dialogues have a trigger zone. This game is very trigger happy, pun not intended.
Wow, look at that movement through that. That was clean.
Beautiful. That was a solid section.
That was so good. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, going back to dialogue triggers.
Yeah, no, dialogue triggers. So essentially, each the whole. I guess I wouldn't say design philosophy, but one of the ideas behind this game was everyone was trying to act as realistic as possible. You'll notice it with the fluidity of the movements, and you'll also notice it with actions with NPCs throughout the various areas. They will do their own thing, and then when you move into a zone, they'll become interactable. And you can speak with them. A quirk to that, though, is you can talk to them, leave the dialogue zone, and the dialogue that they were saying completely skips. It doesn't restart, it just goes back. He goes back to his default state, but it goes to the next sentence. And we utilize that to skip maybe, I think it was roughly about 11 minutes of gameplay time. Just on dialogue. It's
longer than that, actually. I did this a while back because I wanted to see like what does a run look like if you don't skip any dialogue, and it was about 4.5 hours. So it's actually like
it's big.
Lot of time. It's huge. It's actually wild how much time it saves. It saves like an hour.
But there are some dialogues we can't skip, and we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah,
all right, he's going to implement the new skip. It's the trigger.
Oh, I have not seen that.
Yep.
What?
Beautiful. Well done. That became a thing about 2 weeks ago.
No one told me about this. Y'all have been hiding stuff from me, man.
So there's a skip. There's a trigger in there for a mini boss. Basically, someone comes through in the car. They shoot at you with the turret. You get a new ammo type called Fat Boys, and that's essentially what you're supposed to use the ammo on. It's just an extended damage model of the handgun. Oh, very clean. And you're supposed to shoot him in about 5 to 6 bullets. What he's done there is he's pre-thrown the grenades at the boss before the trigger occurs with a certain lineup. So that way he's damaged in full before the trigger happens. And that way you can just go straight through the garage door.
I can't believe I didn't know about that. Y'all, no one told me about that.
I wasn't expecting it to be implemented today, but here we go.
Jeez. Yeah, so basically that whole mission was we got parts to fix a car that has now been fixed, and we're about to open up a gigantic chunk of the map. And so Dan gives us the sniper rifle we are never going to use. We're just going to get into this car, and the idea here is that you would be using the sniper rifle to pick these guys off. But we're running this game on easy mode because easy is fastest. So we just get out, place the dynamite, and then we drive back to the Hagar settlement, and little damage boost right there at the end was a little poorly timed, but I guess any damage boost is good if it gets you there faster.
And by don't use the sniper, we mean literally never. Even in 100%, we use it all of 3 times, and those 3 times are because there's 3 mandatory side missions.
Can you make the trip?
Yep.
I knew I could count on you.
But who runs 100%, honestly?
You know,
who wants to do 26 RNG races?
I think we should rally towards more 100% runners, if you ask me.
Okay, the only reason why I'm not going to ban you from the show right now is because I said the episode title is "It's Gonna Be a Good Day," so I'm gonna let you have that one for free.
It's definitely gonna be a good day.
So now we have opened up an entire new chunk of the map. Actually, most of the map has now been opened up, and we are headed to the first major city, which is Wellspring. This city makes a reappearance in Rage 2, which takes place something like 40 years after this game takes place, something like that. So we're going to talk to Solomon.
Rage 2 came out?
No, like the time frame of the game takes place like 40 years after this game.
Oh, cool.
Like
so
that.
Rage 2 didn't come out. So we still have a hope for Rage 2 coming out then one day.
Yep, that's exactly what I said. Yep, one of these days, Rage 2 will come. It'll be 40 years after this game came out. Yep, you got it. You pinned it down exactly. So we're in Wellspring. We're gonna grab the little bobblehead that's on the mayor's desk. That's gonna be for later, and we're going to skip all the mayor's dialogue. He's basically just gonna tell us to go around town, introduce ourselves to people, and to get a change of clothes because we look raggedy in our vault clothing. And this is one of the first big changes between running this game or playing this game kind of in its vanilla form and doing the speed run of it. The 4th outfit that he just picked up there is not actually native to the game's base game. It only appeared in a DLC called, I can never remember the name of the DLC. What was it called?
Scorcher's DLC.
Not the Scorcher. Is there was a special pack.
Yeah, you know what?
I can't remember the name of it now.
Anarchy Edition.
Yeah, but
Anarchy Edition. There you go.
Anarchy Edition. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, the Anarchy Edition of this game came with a couple little perks and upgrades, and that 4th outfit was one of them. And that 4th outfit combines all the characteristics of the other 3 outfits, and the entire run has been routed around that outfit, so you basically can't skip it. You basically have to get the Anarchy Edition implemented. Luckily, it's pretty easy to do that. You just have to copy a text file, change 1 digit in it, and you're good. You have the DLC installed because it comes it ships with the base game. Is just paywalled behind some like weird. There's some weird shenanigans with it being paywalled, but
Yeah.
Yeah, so this race is called 1 minute 30 seconds because no matter what you do, no matter what corners you cut, no matter how you implement your speed boost, no matter what you do, this race is always 1 minute and 30 seconds. Always. It's quite annoying. And we only have to do 2 of these in any percent, luckily. How many is it you have to do in 100% again? It's
23, I believe.
Is it 23?
23 or 26.
Races, most of which are RNG. So
yeah, it's really, it's not great. And my splits for 100% are basically the rest of the game and then the races on their own. I think the races on their own take out about an hour of a 3-hour run.
I believe it. So right there, he interacted with Dusty, voiced by Fred Tatasciore. Those of you in chat who know that name will probably lose your minds with that. Fred Tatasciore is a voice in this game. And in there, he bought the minigun for the buggy, and he bought some little items for that are kind of like item restore or health restores for the vehicle. He's not going to actually use those. He's just buying those to bank his money because we're going to sell those later on. We're trying to hold on to as much money as we can right now because we're going to need it for later. So here we're going to talk to Mick, who's voiced by Phil Lamar. Again, if you know voice actors, you probably know that name. And we're going to go talk to the sheriff, who is voiced by, I can't remember the actor's name actually off the top of my head.
It's going to be a common theme that you see with this game. It's such an anomaly of a game. It was like very hyped at the start for like maybe a month. No one seems to remember it, and there was bank put into this game, and especially in voice acting.
Yep, you've got John Goodman, Fred Tatasciore, Phil Lamar, Nolan North, Tara Strong,
Steve Blum.
a number of notable voice actors.
Steve Blum, April Stewart. Yeah, that's just the whole 9 yards, and it's very interesting. And I would say an interesting piece of history, just a game that could have so much in it, just not be remembered that much.
Yeah, right. I mean, the game casually is fairly lukewarm. It's not a bad game by any means, but it's a far better speed run. It is a casual experience, in my opinion.
There's a lot to be desired with it, and you'll notice that at the end of the game, we actually utilize. Did he just get all 3 in one hit?
He got Fast Sheriff. He got all 3 dialogue skips or animation skips.
You love to see it. Actually, we'll make a quick side note. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Side note.
I was going to say, so the reason that skip is so good, and we get it 2 more times, as we mentioned before, the dialogue skipping, it is very jank, specifically for Sheriff Black. There's a portion of it where when you move out of the zone, he'll stop his line, but if you move too far, he'll go back to his NPC state and he'll have an animation where he comes up to speak. You can get, within a few pixels, a state where he's not talking, but not going back to the NPC zone. And it saves about 7 seconds in the first interaction, about 5 seconds in the second, and about 3 in the third. It is just unnecessarily difficult for such a minimal time save.
Yeah, it's like very, I wouldn't say high risk, but it's like, that was weird. Can we say the thing? Can we say the thing again? That's never happened before. I've never had
That's never happened before.
Oh, that was weird. Anyway, so now we've actually got some missions to complete. So we are headed off to, we got 2 missions. We got one from the sheriff and one from the mayor. We're doing the mayor's mission right now. And basically it's a fetch quest. We have to just go pick up a Feltrite stone. And this is where we're going to be able to show off just how buggy and weird the collision is, and not just in this game, but really in the id Tech engine, because this is a common theme that threads through other id Tech games. What Zen's going to do is he's going to climb up here, and instead of clicking the lever, he is going to grab. He's going to grab the Feltrite sample through the door, and so he doesn't actually have to lower the or lower the lever to open the doors. It is a goofy thing collision in this game. Then we got to fast travel back to Wellspring, and then we're going to immediately leave and go to do the sheriff's mission, except Zen, because Zen is cracked out of his mind and can actually do this. He's going to bunny hop all the way there. Balake, do you drive there like a normal person?
Oh, I drive there like a normal person.
I drive there like a normal person. Zen is so cracked that he actually bunny hops, and it's faster for him. It's at best the same amount of time for me, and that's if I don't drop the bunny hop, which I always drop the bunny hop. I don't know how he does that,
That
man.
is incredibly difficult set of hops, because you have to maintain that the entire distance. If you come up on a ledge, or you miss a hop, or you don't manage your stamina correctly, we haven't even touched on stamina.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that perfectly, it becomes time loss. And if you do it perfectly, it is not an insignificant amount of time save.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, there used to actually be I believe there was a skip for this sequence when the game first came out, and they got patched out in like a really early patch, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken about that, but yeah, this is MBTB. It's a big gauntlet consisting of 5 rounds of just horde mode. Basically, you're just going to get mobbed by a bunch of mutants, and we haven't even really talked about enemy types yet. That's sort of a thing that we'll start to notice as the run goes on, that there's actually not that many different types of enemies. A lot of them are just reskins of the same thing over and over and over.
So the whole reason behind this run and its this section and its significance in the run is, like Dane said, it's a gauntlet. But the idea behind the gauntlet is that there's bonuses based on accuracy and based on how quickly you can do the gauntlet. Usually we want to try end this entire section with about $1,600. If you have a poor run, you could be down as low as $1,400, and in a route as tight as Zen's normally is, that $1,400 is the difference between being able to do certain skips and not. There is a shop portion that's going to come up soon that only happens twice in the game, which indicates how tight the shopping route needs to be. There are ways to work around it. You can route certain things into it. A lot of things do get skipped as a result of this being good. But this is a very important early game section to get right, especially when you are starting out, because it can be the difference between, even though you might mess up and maybe lose a couple of seconds here and there in the gauntlet, the overall net loss could be up to a minute, depending on how much you need to change to route more items in.
So the spawns during this arena are completely fixed. There were a couple of RNG spawns in the last arena, but these ones, if you know where the muties spawn, you can get them every single time. You can get one here, turn all the way around, get this guy, turn halfway back, get this guy, and then pretty much just do the same thing again.
Oh no. I'm pretty sure those shots were connecting too.
Yeah, they look like it, but like we said, collision's weird, and I think sometimes the bullet hitboxes just don't line up. So
yeah, the enemies...
Since we're
money routing.
Round 3. Speaking of money routing, this is actually a really important part of the run, because it's a slot machine. Basically, we can make a lot of money here by not shooting the skulls, but only if we shoot the big money signs. So Zen has to line up 3 money signs of some kind in order to get a lot of money, and he can't shoot the skulls. That's really, really important. If he shoots the skulls, we're going to lose the thing. Oh, he shot the skull. Oh, no, that sucks. Oh, no, what's going to happen? Oh, no, that sucks.
World record holder, by the way.
Yeah, I actually shot the skull here. In case you didn't pick up on it, that was planned.
Yeah, the amount of money that you get from this. I think if you hit the big skull 3 times in a row the first time, I think it's only $12. $12.
I think you mean the big money
Stingy.
sign.
All right, this one's a really cool Easter egg. There's 3 lights on the tentacles. Those lights will pop up fishy, and each fishy shot nets about 300, or is it 200? 200 for a total of 600.
Yep,
And the
so that's
spawns
the
in
dope
this
fish.
are fixed as well, the same as the last gauntlet. So the trick with this one is the enemies coming out of the little tubes do have iframes, so you do have to take that into consideration. This is the last portion of MBTV, and we do have our first actual boss fight coming up.
I mean, kind of.
That's the thing with this game, is it is all kind of. There are kind of boss fights. There's probably one that would actually be considered a boss fight.
Yeah, there's only one actual boss fight in this game, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So, yeah, basically, Zen's just gonna unload a mag on this guy, and that's it. I love how he just like manages to lightly step to the side. I get hit every time I try that strat.
Yeah.
So, and he bonked into the gate. That's what happens when you go too fast in this part. And that is MBTV. If you play Rage 2, which of course hasn't come out yet because it won't come out for another 35 years, that is also in Rage 2, as well as the races. So, but yeah,
and all jokes aside, the MBTV in Rage 2 was actually really fun. I would say it's probably better than this one.
Oh, easily. Yeah, it's much better than this one. But yeah, now that we completed the MBTV, we've done both of those missions, and we just fast travel back to Wellspring. And something we should probably talk about is the fact that every time you fast travel in this game, you're using the radio to call a tow truck, and every time you do that, it costs up to $150. So every time you do it, you are costing yourself some of that precious money that we've been trying to obtain. That's the reason why we do the mayor's mission first. If we did the sheriff's mission first, we'd have to fast travel twice, and that's an extra $150 that we really can't afford. So that's the reason why we're doing things in the order that we're doing them.
Yeah, that's it. And part of it as well, obviously Dane says up to 150.
Yep.
The reason that he says up to 150 is, I don't know why they implemented this. It seemed like it may have just been a difficulty thing, trying to make the game a little bit easier. Same with the health regen, same with the defibrillators. This game was, I guess, trying to target a certain demographic of gamer. At the time, obviously, 2011 had. But essentially, the reason that fast travel exists is if your vehicle gets damaged out in the wasteland, for up to $150, you can get that back to any one of the hubs. But we say up to 150 because the way that we route money, we try to spend as much of it as possible in the first section and then sell all the items that we bought at the beginning. That's why he's banking those items, because we can fast travel with no money. We could fast travel with $50. We could fast travel with 150. It's only capped at 150, and if you have less than that, you just spend what you have. And if you have nothing, game doesn't care. You can fast travel for free.
Yep, which is nice, because I'm sure there's times when many of us were playing this game, way back in the 360 era, where we had no money and we were stranded with a destroyed car. So this is the
right now what's happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is the second race that we have to complete, and then once we finish this race, we never have to see another race again. But Lucky, how many races do you do on 100% again? I'm so glad I brought you on the show for once.
So the reason that we did that race is we do it to get a vehicle called the Caprino. So we're essentially upgrading from the buggy, and the Caprino becomes our de facto vehicle for the rest of the game. There's a couple of vehicles. The vehicle selection's not massive. I don't know why they thought that they would need to get the best vehicle you can get outside of one at the very end, right in the early game, but they thought that was the case. So that's why we do that. We go to Mutant Bash TV to get a sponsorship. We come back to do the sponsorship race. We win the Caprino, and now we're going out and doing our other missions.
All right, so we got another, not a fetch quest, a drop-off quest. It's the opposite of a fetch quest. We're dropping something off. we have to leave something there rather than pick something up, and then we're going to sit through one of 3 cutscenes with Dr. Anton Kvasir, and these are definitely the highlight points of the run. 3 unskippable cutscenes that are very long and very dry. And why can't we skip these cutscenes? id Software, please.
And we would bounty it, but it's actually just physically impossible. There is no dialogue zone for this section.
Yep.
And it's required. The checkpoint system does not allow missions to be skipped. The missions have to be completed. You can skip certain things within missions, but you can't skip missions as a whole.
You got a huge air there. What the heck? I've never gotten that much air there.
Now we're doing what Dane has forgotten the word of, a delivery. We're doing a delivery.
Okay, look, so just because I forgot the word delivery. Oh, by the way, we're going to park the car gently.
Oh, gently? No, he actually parked the car gently.
He parked the car gently. So yeah, the joke here is that if you drive fast enough, you can actually drive the car completely off the cliff, explode it. But don't worry, you can repair it for $150.
Put it on the counter and we'll see.
So this is the unfortunate part of the run.
This is the first break, 3 minutes.
Yep.
That's right, the break. Oh, what are you doing?
Oh no, Zen, you're out of bounds. How are you going to get back in bounds?
Sorry.
Yeah, this is what this segment looks like from outside of the bounds of the playing area. I don't know what Zen's going to do. He's just completely stuck out of bounds. So while we're stuck out of bounds, I guess this would actually be a pretty good time to read off some announcements, because we have 3 minutes to kill in this spot. I remember somebody earlier brought up that they were missing the mainline events. But for those of you that are missing the mainline events, good news, Summer Games Done Quick 2025 will be live in Minneapolis, Minnesota from July 6th to July 13th. And if you want to attend the event, you can register until May 26th. If you use exclamation point SGDQ in Twitch chat, you can get the link for that, or you can go to gamesdonequick.com for more information about that. And then also for those of you that, if you miss out on any of our Hotfix shows, or if you missed out on events like Back to Black, Frost Fatales, the Trans Day of Visibility we just had, or the upcoming Oops You Died that's coming up this weekend, you can find all of the VODs of the events that we host here at twitch.tv/gamesdonequick over at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And if you're watching from youtube.com, hello, come join us over at twitch.tv/gamesdonequick and follow us over here. We'd love to have you.
So Zen, how are you feeling on the run so far? You don't have to talk and move at the same time now.
Yeah.
We are 40 seconds behind my PB at run.
Aw.
Instead.
That's okay.
Which is still probably like a minute ahead of mine.
I mean, that's like 10 minutes ahead of both of us, man. This man is cracked out of his mind. Also, for those of you that did not pick it up, this is Neil Ross, aka Colonel Volgin from Metal Gear Solid 3. So like we said, they got some banger talent for the voice actors for this game.
A well-named place.
It's important.
Right, so we're going to be setting up for a skip here. That's going to skip a couple of frames, not seconds. Frames. We're going to wiggle into this lever, and then we're going to wait to accept the quest line.
But I heard the rumors. Now it's surrounded by a tremendous wall filled with living memories of the horrors committed there.
It's just yapping.
And nice. Saved a couple of frames. Oh. Again, not seconds.
That's my frame perfect.
It's important.
It's important.
It is important. I mean, it's important for you. It's not important for us. The unoptimal runners.
I still do it anyway, though. Yeah, we are. We travel back to Wellspring one more time to turn in this quest to the sheriff, and then he's going to give us our next quest. And this is where the run really starts, in my opinion. This is where we get into the midpoint of the game, and this is where you're going to see the first major skip. Aw, darn, sheriff.
Dang.
Leaned back over the desk. Oh well. So Zen's going to travel back over to the vendor to do the first bit of shopping. We're only going to shop again twice in this entire run, once here and once closer to the end. So Zen's going to be buying and selling an assortment of items in order to be able to. Man, he is so much more reckless with this than I am. I'm scared to do this.
I always end up overselling, especially doing the enter click.
Yeah. Yep. Enter click is like goated, but it's also like incredibly scary. So you'll hear a lot of that cling, 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 cling noise, and this is where we're going to we bought all the things to do all the crafting, and now we're going to craft every one of these RC cars one at a time. Why build all doesn't just build them all at once, I don't know. Why in software? But Zen bought all of the components needed in order to build 25 cars and make 11 rounds of pop rockets. Blockade, tell us about pop rockets.
Pop rockets are awesome. They are some of the best ammunition I've ever seen in a first-person shooter ever, and I am saying easily top 5 ammunition of all shooter games. It is incredibly overpowered in this game. It is at this point now, bar maybe depending on how it's routed. Some people like to use the electric bolts for one portion of the game, but for the most part, the rest of it is just pop rockets. You'll notice that when he sold all of his ammo, he sold all of his ammo except for the shotgun shells. So pop rockets are essentially an explosive shotgun shell. You can craft them. You have alternate ammo types, and that's one of the ammo types you can swap to. It is a one-shot to every single enemy type in this game, and for every one of the minion enemy types. Some enemies take 2. There's some armored enemies that were going to come up, not in this particular section, but shortly in Authority Prison. But yeah, usually 1 or 2 shots. In the case of a boss, it takes maybe 5 or 6. Oh, sorry, a mini boss.
Yeah, so here's
going for it straight away.
Bunker. Yeah, this is way that was a risky one, but he did it. So this is Shrouded Bunker. This used to be at least when Tachyon ran this was a fairly long segment. It's like a 3.5-minute segment. But Zen here found a skip for this. So what he's going to do is he's going to wait for this elevator to rise up. He's going to line up on a very specific spot. He's going to save real quick just in case this goes wrong. And he's going to do another extendo grab. This is the thing that he saw earlier with grabbing levers from far away. And he's going to sink down into this spot, and that's going to let him wiggle himself out of bounds. He's going to line up in a particular spot. He's looking for a visual cue here. He's going to switch to the nades, switch the difficulty to Ultra Nightmare, which is the highest difficulty setting. He's going to save real quick, cook a grenade, walk over the edge, blow himself up. That's going to trigger the defibrillation sequence, and he's going to revive himself. And because he did that, he's able to respawn out of bounds. So we're currently bouncing around underneath the level. Now, how are we going to get back in bounds? We're going to drop a couple of RC cars, save again because this can go badly. Also switch the difficulty back to easy so that way we don't die again. He's going to save, and he's going to line up and blow himself up and jump back in bounds. Beautiful first try on everything there. Very, very nice.
Everything is going really smoothly in this run.
And because you said that, now something's going to go wrong. Thanks for commentators cursing that. So he managed to clear that jump really nice. Now we're at the end of Shrouded Bunker. So for some reason,
Oh, no. You didn't save it too.
That's so rare.
I'm gonna reset. I wanna show it off.
Yeah. So there's a really
we got plenty of time.
It's not really a skip so much. It's more of just like a shortcut, I guess you'd say.
Save time, of course.
Yeah. It saves time versus just riding up the elevator like normal. Saves a like 30 seconds or something like that. Saves a decent chunk of time. So we're going to just do this one more time. maybe save at the top of the stairs.
Thanks, Balaki.
Oh, there's a reason that he's doing this as well. So this is the only portion that we can jump over the railing into the elevator. If we don't do it correctly, we land into a death plane, or we just land into a wall, which means we can't jump over.
Yep. And now you can just jump up this invisible wall. Why this works, I'm not sure we actually know, but you can do this, and this is how we're going to get out of here a little early. So he's going to do kind of a weird jump here. You have to kind of like jump and press forward. Oh, nice first try. Oh no!
Oh no!
He had it, except he just didn't clear the wall. So one more.
And the little hopping that we're doing here is very similar to what we would normally do to do the gate skip at the start of the game, or at least Dane and I have to. It's just, if you have to tap the move forward key and the space key at the same time, but very generously. You don't want to spam it too fast, otherwise you don't climb up. If you do it too slow, he just doesn't catch on and falls back down.
Yeah. And now we are going to Dead City. Dead City is certainly named Dead City because nothing lives there, and not because all runs die here. Certainly none of mine do.
Coincidence.
It's a coincidence. So yeah, this is Dead City. Dead City kills all my runs. Every run that gets past Shrouded Bunker dies here. Because it's actually, there's 2 skips and they're both cursed. And this run is very fragile. Like if you miss a jump or whatever, you could kill the entire run very quickly. It's very, very easy to lose PBs in this game. Even with times that aren't nearly as optimized like Balake's and mine, you can still just lose entire runs off of one missed jump, which is very unfortunate. Of course, Zen is just cracked, managed to kill that mini boss, no problem. Just threw 2 nades, emptied a mag, and GG's.
That's all that she wrote. That's all there is to it. Pop rockets are, like I said, incredibly overpowered. The 2 nades are just so if for whatever reason we miss a pop rocket, we still have a little bit of leeway. I believe normally it's only meant to be 6. So the 2 nades are just, I guess, an insurance policy because we don't need to sell them. We just pick them up as we go through the run.
Yep. And then this is a scripted sequence. These enemies always appear in the same order every time. So he's going to shoot those 2 guys. This window's going to break at this guy. 1 through here. 1 out the floor right here. 1 through the ceiling here. Reload or switch weapons. Got 1 there and 1 here and door. Beautiful.
All right. This is usually where runs can end up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very tricky section that has been made a little bit easier. The skip has evolved over time. This is the probably beautiful.
You did it first try, so clean.
First try.
Why can't I do it that clean, man?
So what's happened there is we do a lot of something called ramp jumping. Part of the momentum in the engine allows us to, as it sounds, ramp up sloped surfaces. We gain a little bit of velocity, like you see there. We jump up on the roof. Yep. A little bit of a swag strat. So essentially what we're doing is we're ramp jumping to get the height that we need and the velocity that we need. But we also have to crouch at a certain time to be able to clear the invisible wall, because there is a little bit of an invisible wall over the barrier. It's not as visually receptive as it should be. That used to be an RC skip, a very difficult RC skip to time because it would trigger the boss. Right now, we're doing a paperclip through the wall. This was also a recent discovery.
Yeah, really
I believe
recent.
it saved about 30 seconds compared to the normal route. It's going to paperclip through the wall.
It's about 12, I think, over the normal route from my
If you do it
timing.
back, it's a matter of if you can do it back or not. The backwards one is infinitely harder, but it can be done.
I believe it. And now we are coming up to the one and only boss fight. This is like basically the only boss in the entire game, and it's this guy right here. Now, The only thing that will damage him is this rocket launcher, which is why they give you the rocket launcher, and they give you infinite rockets for it. They just don't give you infinite rockets all at once. You have to actually use some, and then they'll give you more. But you have to basically shoot the bit of his stomach when he's about to throw that rock, and then... Oh, this is an interesting setup point. I've never seen that before. And then the boss very generously telegraphs exactly where he's going to slam his fist down, and that way you can get out of the way of it pretty easily. So we just have to do this 3 times. This isn't necessarily the most exciting boss fight in the world, but it is luckily the only one we have to suffer through. So. And fun fact, I have never actually died to this boss.
You know what? Come to think of it, I don't think I have it either. I think it's actually really difficult, especially on easy, because the hammer punches that he does rarely it barely affects your health. You could take a couple and it not be an issue.
I'm so happy you said that because Blaine died to this boss once.
Oh my god, did he?
He did. I mean, according to him, I didn't see it happen myself, but he said he died to the boss one time. And I thought that was just great.
All right, we got some tight corridor running through here. This entire section is really good. Is a really good test of movement because a lot of the enemy spawns are triggers as well. So if you time it correctly, you can get past pretty much all of it with no combat. It's just that little tight hallway section that you have to get through, but a couple of pop rockets and it's not a big deal.
Yep. And this is kind of a funny little, not really a bug, it's just kind of like a funny little oversight. If you line yourself up against this wall, you can actually see through the wall before it actually fully breaks, which is kind of funny. And as soon as the wall breaks, a enemy spawns in, and he decided to not cooperate this run because of course he didn't, and get right in the way. But luckily a couple pop rockets and he is down. And that is Dead City done much, much faster than I can do it. Well done.
That is Dead City done quick.
It's Dead City done quick. Excellent. And then we have to go back to Kvasir. So the entire reason we went into the Dead City in the first place was because Kvasir told us that there was an upgrade that we could get if we go in there and fetch the equipment. That was awesome. Anyways, we basically got a defibrillator upgrade. So now we can park the car gently.
There we go.
Gently park the car, yes. Don't worry, we'll unexplode the car for $150. And then we have the second cutscene with Kvasir. This is the shortest of the 3, but he's going to give us an upgrade. So then we can use the defibrillator twice before we actually die for real. And because right now, if we use the upgrade once and then die again, we die. We have to actually go back to the last checkpoint. But this upgrade lets us die twice. We don't ever really need that in the run, but this is a required quest line to complete the game. So we have to take this upgrade. There's no way around it.
There is a portion of a later level where it does come in handy. However, there is currently a skip that is faster, a bit more difficult, but saves us from needing it, and that can come in handy a little bit later because there's a portion of another level after that where if we fail to skip, we can potentially move into a death plane, revive ourselves, and continue the run. But generally, for the most part, it's not required. You get so much health. If you're playing the game casually, there's health upgrades as well. It's mainly more important in the higher difficulties.
Yep.
Actually, we should probably explain the reason that Ultra Nightmare actually even exists in this game.
Yeah, that was actually the same thing. That's perfect.
So there's a DLC in this game. We obviously mentioned the pre-purchase bonus DLC that is pre-installed in the game. There is another DLC that came out called The Scorches, which is just an expansion. But the expansion came with a couple of things that we use in this run. First, there's a skip at the very start where we skip a good portion of the loading screen. It's a little bit insignificant. It doesn't really matter. It saves about 7 seconds. And the death abuse skip. So on Ultra Nightmare, if you hit yourself with your own grenade, you only need one. It makes it very easy to time certain death abuse skips. But if you have it on Nightmare, because you don't have the DLC, it takes 2. It takes 2 mentioned. So it's it's really important for the death abuse, because even though we don't use them as much, the nades are far and few in between. But now we're on to the well. The well is a really good portion, good RC boost. It is mostly movement. It is mostly RC boosting, as you saw there. There's a lot of enemies in here. We are coming up to one of the most meme skips in our little community. Yep. Dane is notoriously good at this skip, unfathomably good at this skip. And it's called I Think He's Close. No, he's okay. He's all right. You know what? I shouldn't have pumped up his ego. It's all right.
So this skip is called I Think He's Close, and you'll hear why in a second. Ugh. Yeah, so when you reload checkpoint, every time you fail to skip, you hear him go, I think he's close, over and over. Oh, I almost got it that time.
Over and over.
Yeah, so
what's happening right now is when Zen is moving past the gate, there is a certain trigger that triggers the dialogue and then eventually triggers the gate closing. If we can move fast enough, we can actually get past this gate without needing to kill the enemies to get past it. There is a backup method that we have.
Nice.
Perfect. But we don't need it. And that is, I think he's close. Dane is notoriously good at getting that the first try, even on D-Rust streams.
I also take a different line than Zen does. Zen does that skip a little bit differently than I do, and I found that my version tends to be a little bit more consistent for me. When I try to do it Zen's way, I can never get it first try. So
little ramp jump.
Me laughing that out. Whoa. Okay.
Absolutely teabag that goes.
Yeah, so you have to wait for that platform to fully rise. If you stand at the edge of that platform while it's raising, it won't absolutely destroy you in one hit. Yes, it totally will. It happened to me. And that is the well, which went surprisingly well.
Stop it.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You're going to do it again, aren't you?
So we're going to turn this quest into Carlson. I'm not answering that question. We're going to turn the quest into Carlson, and he's going to tell us to go back to Kvasir for the last and final cutscene with Kvasir before we get into nearer end game stuff. And of course, there is no skip for this next cutscene, so we just have to suffer through it. But luckily, after this last cutscene with Kvasir, there's really not that many unskippable cutscene stuffs. There's a couple of longer sequences where we can skip dialogue, but nothing nearly as bad as just sitting through Kvasir talking. Luckily, again, voiced by Neil Ross, who is Colonel Volgan. So, all the Metal Gear Solid fans rejoice because we get to listen to Neil Ross run his mouth for 3 minutes. Chat is also booing me, which I find highly offensive because I stand by my joke. I stand by it. I started out the episode saying it's gonna be a good day. What do you expect from me, chats? We're gonna gently park the car again.
Park her gently, or whatever Tenacious D song was.
And start the last cutscene with Kvasir. So while we're sitting through this last cutscene, this is a great time to read off some final donations. And actually, as we start to get into the end game stuff, it'll actually be a good time for us to take a break halfway through, because we like to take breaks here at Twitch when we have a little bit longer runs like this. And so at about the hour mark, we'll probably take a quick break. But in the meantime, chat, as a reminder, your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered here on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. So if you enjoy watching speedruns, consider subscribing to the channel to get access to all of our emotes, have ad-free viewing, which is, I know, important to some people. And you can chat with other subscribers during the replays. And we will be playing through both Crosshair and Speedruns from the Crypt after Crypt has wrapped up after this show. So consider subscribing. You can talk to all the other people that are subscribed during those replays. Additionally, if you are unfamiliar with Hotfix, if you're new here, and I see there are some new folks showing up in chat, welcome to those of you that are. If you're new here, you can go over to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix and check out this season's lineup. You can see what shows are going to be coming up this season, and you can check the schedule for an in-depth look at what runs are going to be shown here on the GDQ Hotfix. You can type !schedule to check that out.
But it only works for a brief time.
Yeah, this last cutscene with Kvasir, where we get the mind control darts. We haven't talked about the mind control darts yet, have we?
And we never will. No, we'll talk about
it
this one time, because I actually really like the mind control darts. I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
They're just useless.
Exactly. It's a very interesting concept. The idea is that you get these mind control darts because you can shoot them into your enemies. You can control them for a little bit before they simply explode. And it's cool in concept, but in execution, the enemies move really slow. They move basically zombie-like. The timer isn't that long. The range isn't that long. But just the concept of it is so cool, and I wish there was a way to utilize it, like if we had a way for a skip or something, but unfortunately nothing's come to fruition. I can always dream.
There's also a Steam achievement for killing 3 enemies at once with a mind control dart, and it is the hardest achievement to get in this game. Ultra Nightmare was easier than that achievement. Like, it drove me absolutely up the wall trying to get that stupid Steam achievement. Anyways, we're gonna head back to Wellspring, and I think once we load back in, that'll actually be a good time to hit pause and take a quick break. So let's pause the timer in 3, 2, 1, pause. Let's take a quick break, folks. That way we can get a little stretch in and kind of refresh before we head into the back half of Rage Any %. So we'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Crosshair here on the GDQ Hotfix. We are going to pick it right back up with Rage Any % with Zen. So Zen, give us another countdown back in and let's finish this thing off.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're back in Wellspring. So this is Elizabeth. She does not reappear in Rage 2. We're not really sure why. But she's only in this game for some reason. Also voiced by Tara Strong. Anybody who knows voice actors will probably know that name. And yeah, she's going to give us our next quest, which is we're going to go to prison. Who likes to go to prison? Any prison enjoyers in chat?
Any prison enjoyers in chat? Can I help you?
Any prison enjoyers in chat? But yeah, we have to go to prison to another fetch quest that becomes an escort quest halfway through. So we're going to prison.
So there's a really cool...
headed to prison. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all right. You're right.
Oh, I was going to actually bring up prison skip, so I think that's what you were about to say.
Yeah. I was just going to touch on what we're expecting here. All right, cool. So prison is pretty easy, I guess you'd call it a dungeon for the most part. A lot of the routing is just trying to figure out how to get around enemies, which enemies to kill, because there's no kill counter for it, except for at the end portion. Mostly just, oh, nice. I saw that. The little mattress refill. But what's Authority Prison really amounts to is the final skip at the end. There's a section that you go through. There's a number of ramp jumps that we do, but there is a certain section called the elevator skip, There's essentially 3 ways, or actually now there's really only 2 ways to go about it because we've kind of optimized the RC, and by we I mean Zen. There is the ramp jump, which has been here for a very long time, 6 years at least at this point, which is a very difficult version of the skip, but incredibly cool to pull off and saves us RC cars, so it is the most optimal. The second one is we're going to do a very big RC boost at the start. We're going to do a very specific lineup, and then we're going to do another one over an invisible wall and try to fall into the bottom section. It sounds kooky because it is kooky. Right now, we're just trying to defeat these generators. Normally, we would have an EMP during the casual playthrough for the shields. It comes up, I think, twice in the entire game. Just another one of those concepts that are really unrealized. But we're going through, we're getting down all the shield walls, and we're going to find our prisoner. The whole reason that we came here. It's a search and rescue.
Yep. Oh, jumped a little too high, but that's okay. And then he's going to clear out all these guys because they're going to come back in a moment if he doesn't. Going to line up 3 RC cars here, excuse me, and then do a quick jump to get over the railing there, and that gets us in here without having to run all the way around those rafters, which is nice. He's got to take these guys out. Save. Yeah, I usually save because I'm nervous. And this is Steve Bloom. Like we said, they blew a lot of budget on the voice actors. So yeah, this is Steve Bloom. We're going to get him out of here. And Zen's going to do some pretty rapid jumping to get through those lasers early. That lets us kill these guys as they spawn in. And then Zen is going to line up here to try and take these guys out. The faster he takes these guys out, the faster we can get through this quest, because Marshall won't actually cycle to the next bit of dialogue until everything up here, until specific enemies are dead. There's still a few others that might follow over here, but it looks like they are not. And now we're on an escort mission. So if enemies will follow Marshall, which they will, Marshall will not defend himself. He'll just start soaking up bullets until he's dead. So we have to babysit him a little bit to make sure that we don't like fail the mission.
Now, all of these spawns, same as the other ones, they're all predetermined spawns for this particular section. So it's pretty easy to route it. Good thing you went back and checked because we almost got stuck. It's a very awkward section. You don't have to kill all of them, and that's the weird part. You just have to kill the certain ones that spawn, and because of the okay, unfortunate.
Good thing we have the defibrillator.
Exactly, but because of the AI tracking, the AI pathing, what can happen is the enemies that you don't need to kill end up getting in front of the ones that you do need to kill, and you will kill them, think that the trigger is good to go, then you will do all of this only to realize that that Steve Bloom's character is not following you. You need him to come all the way up, but you need to kill all the tracked enemies to be able to do it. So it's just a very weird pathing issue for this particular portion of the game. It doesn't seem like a lot. You would think just stay back and kill the enemies, in which most part you would think that would be the case. But some enemies that you need to kill just get stuck, and there are times where you have to go all the way back into the prison just to find the enemy that's stuck.
And then we're going to get invaded by aliens, it looks like.
Throw the cheese! Sorry, ASDF reference for those who get it.
All right, that is all 6 of those guys out. Now we're going to do a quick little thing here. We're going to walk back to Marshall to start his dialogue. And then Zen's going to do...
Oh, so close.
Almost. So he's going to do a little lineup here. Got a little antsy there and jumped early. He's going to line up on this railing. This is a backup to the strat he tried to do just now. Going to do a little RC boost to get up here. Going to save to do this one. And then drops in. This skips Marshall's dialogue, so now we just have to wait for him to finish talking, and then we can exit the prison. So we can't interact with this door until we see that that mission thing pop up. But that saves about 15 seconds or so over waiting for the door to open and having to nuke the guy behind it. So nice little time save there.
15 seconds.
Yeah.
So
we're going to travel back to we're going to travel back to Wellspring, and even though we fast traveled, even though we got out of the prison before Marshall, and we fast traveled back here, somehow Marshall's back here before we are. I don't know how this guy is the actual world record holder. He's faster than us, and for some reason there we go. They weren't turning around. I'm not sure why. We just have to skip through some of their dialogue in order to get the next fetch quest, which is very easy to do.
And as I mentioned with Sheriff Black, there's an NPC animation to some of the characters where they're doing a certain thing. Unfortunately, for that particular section, we don't have a way to skip the animation of them turning around and going back to the desk. So that portion just drags out uncomfortably long, especially at the end.
Yeah, luckily we can start it when Marshall turns around. Elizabeth will turn around at a different time. Sometimes it's a little strange, but luckily her animation is not tied to the Marshall's, so it's not super mission critical if she doesn't turn around immediately. But we're going to go actually back to where it all began. So we're going to jump back in the car and go right back to the beginning of the game. This is where we have to go to get an ID drive that we're going to download off of the computer from the very, very beginning of the run. I'm curious how Zen's going to do this, because... Nice. Very nice. Yeah, so I stole Zen's setup, and that makes that part so much easier. So interact with the drive and travel back.
Something to touch on with the movement as well, and why I mentioned going up the ramps. I did mention ramp jumping at the beginning of Dead City. And we noticed a really clean section when we're going through the little cave area at the beginning of the game as well. The unfortunate side effect of the momentum in this game is that a lot of the surfaces, due to the way that the game was designed with mega texturing, a lot of the surfaces are ramped in a certain way to try give it that realistic feel. There's just like little bumps and ridges all over the place where you would normally expect them to be, but it can be a detriment to how we do our movement. So if you accidentally ramp jump off a slope, you can ramp jump into walls, you could ramp jump into the slope, which will kill your momentum. So even though it's great for certain sections like in Dead City, it can be a big detriment in the Wasteland. So clean movements often is it's all tied down to how well you remember certain routes. You can memorize a lot of it and get really good movement like Zen does, but if you're just kind of eyeballing it, you can run into some issues that really slow you down and take multiple seconds off your run.
Yep. And now we're going back to Dead City. So you should remember Dead City from a little earlier in the run. We're going back there because, well, at some point they ran out of budget for this game. Maybe they spent it all on voice actors, who knows? But unfortunately, it did require them to reuse certain areas. So we're going to do Dead City again, but this time in reverse. Dead City is just, we're going to go back through the exits and do the entire thing in reverse. And everything is going to be the same except for one addition of a special gate that wasn't there in the first time. Aside from that, it's the same thing, just in reverse. And funnily enough, the Steam achievement for this, for completing this section is Dead City written backward. YTICDAED.
Your brain was working at 100% capacity then, wasn't it?
Yep, sure was. Mostly just mulling over the fact that it was a pun.
But
nice
you
jump.
love puns. Why would you mull over
I know, I'm messing around. So the hurt box on this door lasts way too long. Even at like 3 seconds after this door has like been blown off the hinges, it still shows up there. And Zen even crafted a bandage to make sure that like he doesn't get hit and die in this part. So unfortunately, getting a little body blocked by enemies, not a big deal. Once they start moving around, they're pretty easy to move around. And we
that
don't have to
door
do the boss
is
fight
the
again.
deadliest door in the West. It will in fact when the momentum is completely over and it's on its last limb falling over, it will kill you. It has just the weirdest property to it where it has an insane amount of damage, and especially on higher difficulties, if you're doing I died to that door on an Ultra Nightmare playthrough.
Oh, I've died to that door on easy.
Yeah, it just does it.
It's
now this
so
is
weird.
where the EMPs come in. We mentioned the generators in Authority Prison. They come back. They are a mechanic that has a really cool skip for what I call Deadier City, which is just when we get out of this portion and get into the next section.
Deadier City.
In the Lotad that Zen made, there is an EMP where you can throw it from all the way at the beginning section of the area to the end section, and it lands in the grate that you need to EMP, and it's so cool.
Yeah, not RTA viable, but a really cool skip.
Very cool strat. So it is just Dead City reverse. It's the entirety of Dead City in its inverse. There's the grate here. So where you start in that little open field there, you can throw the EMP and it lands in that grate. I like to switch to the EMP grenade here because the pulse shots aiming through that grate, the crosshair does not match where the pulse shot is going because it's a projectile.
Crosshair mentioned?
And Crosshair mentioned. I was waiting for it. And yeah, the pulse shot can just be eaten up by the grate. It doesn't have an area of effect, so if it's not a direct hit, it does nothing. So switching to the EMP can maybe cost you a second or two, but is often the safest way to do it.
Still really nice to be able to do it. And that is Dead City 2 in reverse.
Dead City 2.
And this is going to finally get us into the end game stuff. So the end game sequence is fairly long, where we exactly split early game, mid game, and end game is not exactly even, but the reason why we're going to consider the next section end game is because we're actually going to be traveling to a new map. Currently, we're in the Western Wasteland, and we're going to be traveling the Eastern Wasteland, excuse me, and we're going to be traveling to the Northern Wasteland and completing the rest of the game there. Unfortunately, the missions in the Northern Wasteland are a little bit less inspired than the ones from the Eastern Wasteland. It consists pretty much entirely of go here and kill this guy, go here and flip this switch, or go here and drop this off, or pick this up. And granted, that's not extremely different from what we've been doing, but unfortunately there's just, I got these backwards. We're in the Northern Wasteland. We're going to the Eastern Wasteland. I got that reversed.
There you go.
Yeah. You didn't correct me.
No, I was just letting you eat that one out.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm so glad to call you a friend.
Yeah. But on the inverse of that, casually, this section is pretty lackluster. But speedrunning wise, this is where most of the best skips in the game are.
Oh yeah, agreed.
A lot of the sections have been routed out, and as I mentioned earlier, you're gonna see where the budget, the time running out for this game, you're gonna start seeing a lot of the side effects of that. These are the buggiest levels in the game, and as a result, we have some really cool skips for them, especially in the final area. The final area has some of the most broken skips possible. None of them RTA viable, except for one really cool one, which you will see in this run. But yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen in this area.
Now, it's our job.
Well, since we're not moving, Zen, do you have any highlights for this area? Any highlights for the previous area that you want to touch on?
Dead City gate skip first try. This trick has been living rent-free in my head the past 2 weeks.
Oh, that was a good gate skip.
It was a really good gate skip. So yeah, you're not meant to squeeze by Marshall here, but if you jump at the right angle and kind of bounce your way past him, you can actually get in front of him. And there's a way to actually clip yourself inside of Marshall. Does it save time? No. Is it funny? And we're still going to do it anyway. You bet. So we're not supposed to be standing here, but Marshall has us pinned into the wall. We're going to get pushed out in a second once he starts moving again, but it's just really funny that you can stand here. Oh, wow, you didn't get pushed out the way I do. Interesting. And then Marshall can give us a piggyback while we're waiting for him to start his next dialogue sequence.
All right, people. A little introduction.
The dialogue section in this particular area is very interesting. It changes dynamically through the course of the dialogue, and there's also other dialogue sections that we have to be wary of. There is a so part of the game is schematics. Schematics are what allow you to unlock craftable items. There is a portion of that area where we need to get a schematic that increases our damage. However, we can get that schematic twice as long as we're careful. If we accidentally trigger a certain portion of that dialogue from someone that we're not supposed to, we will lose the schematic that we need.
Yep. And this is the second bit of shopping. This is Janny. Everybody in my chat seems to really like Janny. I'm not totally sure why, but whatever, it's fine. So yeah, Zen's gonna sell us a bunch of his ammo, and then he's going to buy a couple other things to craft just some more explosives that we're going to be using in the end game. And there we go. And when he walked into Redstone's office right before he walked in here, he grabbed the bobblehead off of the desk, and that in conjunction with the bobblehead from early in the game. Selling those is really nice because it's worth a lot of money. And as we said, money routing is pretty tight in this run.
So right now what we're looking to get is obviously some more RC cars, but an important one that can assist quite a lot in one portion of the game, and only one portion of the game is, oh sorry, no, I lie, there's two portions, but mostly the one portion is the advanced sentry turrets. And the reason that we get that is there is more of those rooms that require a certain kill count to be met before we can proceed to the next one. And they just help speed up that process. You can put them in certain areas, so you yourself only need to fixate on one.
Yeah, we're going to get another round of pop rockets here. Zen crafted 110 of them during the first vendoring, and he was down to 8. That's how much ammo you can burn through, even when you're running past everything. So crafted another 80 just to make sure that we have enough for endgame. That should be plenty for the remainder of the run, unless he just really runs into problems. Also, this guy is voiced by, I can never remember the actor's name, but he's the guy that... he's in Skyrim. He's the
Paul Eiding.
Thank you, Paul Eiding. Yeah, voiced by Paul Eiding. You'll recognize that really gruff voice from Skyrim. He was the Winterhold second in command. For anybody that's familiar with that game. And we are going off to Blue Line Station. This is I think it's probably the longest commute that we have in the run. So as soon as Zen gets behind the wheel, he's going to be driving a really long ways, and we're there. So he's going to get out and jump down here.
Oh,
ooh, slightly different route from what I go.
Yeah, very dangerous route actually.
Yeah, that was a risky one, but managed to get through. It actually didn't take a lot of damage either, which I might have to steal that pathing. That was actually really good.
All right, so a lot of tight corridors, a lot of kill count areas in this particular one. In this section, no, I was right. It's only one. So this, you can utilize them later,
well,
but this is really
two parts of this area.
Portions of this. Yeah.
So he
right now
he made 6 turrets. He's going to use 4 of them here and 2 in a later section. But yeah, sorry. Anyways, you were saying.
Yeah, no, so essentially this story-wise where we're at, essentially they're doing some work in a station. They need the explosives to try as part of their demo work. You need to come in here and get the explosives. You have to clear out all the enemies as you go. But this particular portion, we have the turrets out so we can focus on the back area where the enemies take the longest to spawn in. They don't spawn in quite a set order, but they do spawn in set locations. So it's just a matter of seeing which locations they pop up in.
Yeah, the order's usually pretty consistent. I mean, I've never really had issues with them spawning in different spots, but it can happen if you get unlucky. Oh, you missed that last shot, but
wasn't required.
No big deal.
So it's always the same set amount of kills.
Yep.
Usually you can time it with your own kills, but sometimes turrets can get an additional one if they have the right angle.
So kill the trigger enemy
Now this
to skip that, and then we're coming up on another skip that is just one of the coolest ones. So you're gonna do a jump over an invisible wall to climb up here, and we are very, very squarely out of bounds. We've got some really janky collision right here, and then we have to do a little jump to get up here. Very nice. Gonna slide up onto this wall, jump up here. Man, that's so much faster than I can do it.
That was incredibly quick.
Yeah. So now we're gonna set up for a really cool jump.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh,
look at that.
Let's go.
Wow.
That was incredible.
Was really good.
Normally what we do here the long way is we have a method using RC cars where we will utilize both of our defibs and def abuse to fall down a particular section. And then we... that's right, we changed it. So it is only just the fall down section.
Yeah.
There is a method that we were toying with similar to that big jump on the roof, where you can jump down into the debris, but it is a very precise jump and you need a certain amount of momentum. You can't go too far or too short. So that one, that strat that Zen just did, favors just going ham on it, basically. Which is an incredibly cool strat. It's such the movement
so cool.
in this game can really just bring out, and Zen's done some montages in the past of just like messing around with certain movement strats, and they're really cool as well.
Man, I'm
that's Blue Line Station.
Go to sleep tonight thinking about that skip. That was so cool.
But like I said, some of the most broken levels in the game equals some of the best skips in the game, and that was absolutely no exception. Definitely one of the harder levels just in general. This upcoming section has definitely a difficult skip, but for the most part, the remainder of the level is actually quite easy. I think Blue Line Station overall is definitely the hardest to get right.
Okay. So I'm gonna need you to bust into that. Here's what you do.
And now we're going to Gearhead Vaults. This is probably the funniest set of enemies in the game because they all just use the comically hilarious Russian villain accents. Yeah. You'll hear it if you listen closely. All right, so we're going to do a skip right here. It's going to save just
This has been a section that's evolved a ton.
Yeah.
It used to be we had, so normally you would go in, firewalls would trigger. This one is okay. Hold on, we'll get.
There we go. Got it.
Look at that. That's beautiful. So that's new skip as well. Perfect.
Look at that. So good.
So this used to be a very RC car heavy area. I think we use about 8 or 9 RC cars in total. And this skip was recently found as well as the other one. So we've minimized we've made that shop sequence even tighter. We do obviously in this particular run that Zen's doing have backup RC cars in case whatever fails.
Dang it.
Right now we're trying to paperclip into the wall, similar to what we saw in the first Dead City run, except this one's a little bit trickier because of the fact that we don't have a ledge to fall back onto. If we fall off, and we have to reload, making this a bit more precise.
Oh, there we go. Slid right out. Yeah, he almost got the clip there, but unfortunately, yeah, there not being any ground on the right side of this wall makes it a little harder. There we go. That was good.
There we go.
You just have to slide through, and this is where the entire thing that we're doing is a fetch quest to grab that, and now we can leave. Oh, look at that jump. That was clean.
And because of that, we skipped a little helicopter sequence. So that helicopter blade normally rotates on a random basis, and it is an insta-def if that happens. For some reason, the route that he takes just breaks that sequence.
Yep, skips the trigger to get it to spin up, which is convenient for us. God, that was so much faster than I do it. I still use the left side method after that one gate.
That was very well done. That was very cool. That's probably the most recent activity in this game when it comes to finding new skips. Those two were found very recently, within the last couple of months. So very cool to see that finally implemented as a whole run.
Yeah. And now we found out that Redstone there, we were just talking to, was betrayed by the Russians. Oh no, big plot twist, yada yada. So we have to go to the power plant, where is their headquarters, and just clean house. Luckily, the power plant also has an incredible skip that we're going to do to skip an unskippable cutscene, which is really, really nice because that cutscene involves a really big Russian mob leader person, the boss fight of that segment, finding us in an elevator and being like, hey, you're dead. And then they cut the cables holding up the elevator and we plummet to our death, except we don't actually die. We don't even really get hurt. And then you have to proceed through the rest of the power plant in order to kill this guy. But we can skip all of that. This is like this has got to be like 8 minutes of, well, maybe not 8 minutes, but
it's a massive sequence break.
It's a massive sequence break.
I think in total it was about 6 minutes.
Is it 6? Okay, nice.
Yeah. But definitely, I think by far the biggest sequence break in the game, and it goes to we do the RC skip. Saving here is super important because this is probably the hardest RC skip in the game. Unfortunate.
So close.
And it's not necessarily difficult because of the RC jump, just the tight movement afterwards. There we go. Oh, no.
Nope. He was a little too far to the left. I saw that right before it happened.
Hey, I'm getting tired.
It's all good. You're killing it regardless, so no worries if a skip doesn't go. It's honestly, a skip going badly is kind of a good showcase of just how fragile this run really is. So finally got through there. That's what we wanted to see. Now the real question is he going to go for the final sequence skip?
And this is the second portion of the Advanced Century. The Advanced Century is, it's not required for this section to go past, but it helps a lot. It's just that we normally, with basic routing, you have a lot of pop rocket and you can get through the sequence fairly quickly. But the Advanced Century turret just makes it more consistent. There used to be a very, very long out of bounds sequence in this area. It was very difficult, used a lot of RC cars, and then we discovered just popping down the Century turret saved about the same time.
Yeah, actually, I remember there was Zen did a side-by-side of, so doing this sequence, he would do this sequence, and then he did the out of bounds side-by-side, and from the segments he recorded, it came down to literally the frame. They were exactly the same time, like literally down to the frame. It was actually kind of incredible how little time it actually saved. So that doing it inbounds is just way, way, way easier, and it takes the same amount of time. So that's what we do. So yeah, we are back to Subway Town, and this is where we go turn in the quest to Redstone, except, oh no, Redstone was pinched by the authority, and now we are going back to Marshall. So we just did all of that for Redstone for nothing. Well, I mean, for a reason in the story, but yeah, we're done doing all that. So we've got a couple of other missions, and then we're going to be wrapping up after that. Ooh, Fast Lassard, nice. That was really good.
So Fast Lassard, same as the sheriff, has an NPC animation that you can skip within a certain frame.
Yep.
And if you're not careful with that little elevator there, you can clip through. I've done it multiple times, and it's very
I've only done it once.
You can't get back up. The only way to get back up is to reload a save.
Reload, yep. That only happened to me once. So now we're headed to Jackal Canyon. Jackal Canyon is about 2/3 complete. id Software never finished the last third of this sequence, and you will see just how well that shows. There's you can get out of bounds just by climbing a ladder. Not even like clipping through walls or anything. You can just climb a ladder and jump out of bounds. It's quite sad.
But it's really cool, and there's another version of the skip. Good try. There's another version of the skip where we do a damage boost in a section coming up shortly with barrels rolling down. It is massive, so we're not going for that one. It is definitely not RTA viable. We're gonna jump over some canyons. And then big jump. Perfect.
Nice. Ooh, nice. Well done. Yeah, that skips the zip lines, which you're supposed to ride 2 zip lines down. I still do 1 zip line method because I'm scared to do that second jump. I'm afraid I'm going to overshoot it every time. And then, nice. Set up well for gate skip. So normally you have to wait for this gate to lower, but you can just jump over it and get out of there early. Saves.
All right, here we
2
go.
or 3 seconds. Not a huge time save, but it's nice little one to get. And you can also bunny hop and get on top of those gates and go over the side. Hence the reason why this section is only about 2/3 complete. So this is what I mean. You can climb this ladder and then you're just out of bounds. It's just, if you stand at the top of this ladder, you just get out of bounds. It's quite sad.
Goated. Absolutely goated with it. And the reason that that's so difficult is the pop rockets.
Beautiful. That is a really
drawback is that they are
really hard
a
skip.
projectile
And
in game.
did it first try like no issue.
And your momentum can quite easily outpace the pop rocket's momentum when you're going down. So you have to time the shot to land where the barrel is, but you also have to be in a position where the barrel's explosion can kill you. And the trick with it is you can outpace and just fall to your death, or if you shoot it to if you don't shoot it right, you'll hit the barrel but not be in the death plane. That one doesn't happen as often. More often than not, you just land on the ground.
Also, if you get out of that little car that we rode back up, if you get out of that on the left side, which you can do, you fall to your death. Ask me how I know that. Or don't, I guess. Thanks.
I wasn't going to ask.
That was 3 gold.
I was going to let chat ask.
Yes, that actually happened to me. I was 2.5 minutes ahead on my PB, and I got out of the left side and killed the run. So that was cool. So yeah, we've only got 2 sequences left. We're going to turn the quest into Lassard. We're going to talk to Marshall to get the... Marshall? Oh, there you go. Talk to Portman. We're going to pick up the schematic right here. That's the quad damage increase that we're going to use during the end sequence. And then we have to just go blow up a bridge. And once we blow up that bridge, we can head into the final sequence of this run.
And this skip is a deceptively tricky skip, just mainly because it all depends on how you line up your car. There's a couple of ways that you can tackle it. For instance, most people will, when they line up nose to the gate, they will just jump on the roof and then do a little strafe jump over the gate. I often fail that because I don't get the line up properly, so I have to do a longer strafe jump based off the back of the tray, like we're going to see here.
Nice.
There we go. Perfect. So that skips, let's say, about 3 minutes of driving, about a minute of elevator sequence.
It's about 3.5 minutes total, I think. Something like that.
We're going to wait for this explosion. There we go.
Fast travel back to Subway Town, and we have done every side mission, every main quest mission in the game except for the final one. We've now set up everything we need in order to go into the authorities' headquarters and take them down. We never talked about the authority. We never even talked about like what the entire objective of this game is. The entire time we've been talking about about the run. So like story, lore, blah blah blah, authoritative government. We're trying to take down something rebellion group that we're working with, something we infiltrate the authority headquarters, just one guy by ourselves, and we uproot an entire government something, 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 something. And now we get the Gauss cannon.
Beautiful gun. So yeah, the whole thing is just, sorry, long story short, it's just the world's about to end, asteroids are coming, they create something called arcs, every select amount of people get put in those arcs, but the government, this crazy authority, decides that their pods are going to open just a little bit earlier than everyone else's, and they use that to create an oppressive regime, yada yada. And this it's a very, you know, tried and tested story of just infiltrating and overthrowing an oppressive regime. That's all what it is. It's a very basic story. It didn't need to be anything crazy. I think they spent most of it. It is just a glorified tech demo in the end. It actually was a tech demo for this engine. I think way back in 2006. The idea is that
2006. That's when they started working on it.
Yeah. So it's basically the whole idea of the game is just one glorified tech demo, and I think that's part of the reason it isn't remembered so much is that there's not a whole lot of stock put into. It's very basic gameplay, very basic story. A lot of what's cool about it just stems from the kind of advancements that they had with Tech 5. Bugs aside, there are plenty and plenty of bugs.
Yeah, and still not as many as the most buggy id Tech games. This one, as far as id Tech runs are concerned, kind of one of the lesser buggy ones, and still totally full of bugs.
Doom 2016, anyone?
Doom 2016. Ask me how I know that. That's my first speedrun ever.
Where do you think your love of paper clipping comes from?
It's from that game. So yeah, we are now in Capital Prime. This is the Authority headquarters, and we our lonely solo self are going to take down this entire organization with 21 pop rockets and a dream. So he's going to wait here just a moment so that he can wait for that drone to pass and then do a quick jump to get through. You can see him wiggle a lot to get through here. There's a lot of really wonky collision on the walls that can grab you and just kind of hold you up. So you'll see Zen kind of wiggle around through things to kind of avoid getting grabbed by the walls. And then we have a skip here we call Vega Skip. What's funny is actually this skip didn't have a name until the Doom runners came in and did it and saw it, and then we called it Vega Skip because that elevator is just like Vega's elevator in Doom 2016. So that's a fun little lore thing there. He's gonna kill 10 mutants that are gonna spawn at random. This part is entirely RNG. Luckily, it's about the same amount of time, kind of regardless of where they spawn. But it is a little annoying having to deal with this.
And this is actually where one of the best skips in the game is, and we just can't do it. It is so incredibly complex that it's not even worth trying, but it is very cool, and it essentially implements a lot of skips where we would essentially paperclip into this area, do a strafe jump onto the outside of the elevator, and just elevator jump up, and it's so cool. But like a lot of skips, there's a lot of theory crafting when it comes to skips in this game. A lot of them don't come to fruition just because while they're cool, they don't really save a lot of time, or if they do, they're extremely complex and it just would take too long to try it in an RTA setting. But luckily, we are going to see the coolest skip in the run right here. So Zen just has to kill these two guys, and this is by far the coolest skip in the run. He's going to line up on a very specific spot, save, and bang.
Oh, not quite the right lineup, but that's okay. He saved, so he can try it as many times as he wants. Oh, almost.
There we go.
And boost right over. Oh, that's so good. I love that skip.
So essentially what's happening is the electric gates have a bit of reverse velocity when you hit them, not the blue ones, but the orange ones. So what happens is you can channel that momentum into basically an omega strafe jump and carry that all the way up. But the trick is you have to be looking down at a certain point and looking to the right a certain way. So that way you're not only bouncing back at the right angle, but bouncing, in the right vertical angle, but also at the right horizontal angle to bonk off the hitbox that the elevator would have.
Yep, and we are going into the final sequence of the game. This is the final boss. You can't see me right now, but I am using my fingers for air quotes so hard right now because this is where the budget truly ran out. This is the final sequence of the game. We have to hit these 3 buttons. There we go. We have to hit these 3 buttons, and then we have to just kill a whole bunch of enemies that spawn out of these wall holes. And yeah, riveting final sequence. Luckily, Zen was able to craft that authority augmenter, which gives us quad damage because it's an id Tech game, and every id Tech game has a quad damage somewhere in it. And so we can just pick these guys off real easily.
Now, the spawns are random, but the kill count's always the same. So we have 9 enemies in the first section, and then we have 15 enemies in the second section. There we go. We needed to see it at least once.
Yeah, so that can happen if you kill them too quickly. They get stuck in the thing. Also, Zen's saving here because there is a potential soft lock where if you kill the enemies too quickly during this second sequence, they will like soft lock you and the rest of the quest won't cycle. So we're coming up on time as soon as he finishes killing all these guys and pushes that final button. And that should be the last one there. Oh, nope, there's one more. Oh, nope, 2 more. Ooh. Or I miscounted. I think I miscounted.
You're good at counting.
Thank you. And time.
Nice.
GG's.
GG's.
Yeah, I think Zen's marathon RTA is faster than my PB RTA. It's sad. I'm so slow at this game.
It's faster than my RTA.
135 with break.
Man, my PB is I think a 132 and change with loads removed. Your loads included is so much faster.
Can check.
My RTA is 148.
134.09.
Man, you're so much faster than I am. But yeah, GG. Zen, did you have any shout outs you wanted to give?
Yes, my wife for infinite gaming permission. No.
Yeah, do you want to explain what the situation is time-wise on your end right now?
With my family?
No, what time is it there at the moment?
Oh, time. Okay, it's almost 4 in the morning now.
Yeah. This guy, goated as he is, was willing to stay up till 4 in the morning to show this run off on Hotfix. So everybody, please give GGs and claps in chat for Zen for being the GOAT and being willing to stay up as late as he is. Also has 2 kids sleeping in the house. So what a guy. Thank you, Zen, for doing this, and Balake for doing commentary along with me. Super happy to have you both here. Balake, did you have any shout outs you wanted to give as well?
Just shout outs, obviously the main catch here. I think the common meme is that we're the last free bastion of rage speedrunning, because every now and then we're the only ones still running it at this point. Zen is paramount to this run's existence. Obviously, shout outs to Tachyon as well, who was the main innovator at the start and still has a lot of insight to provide. But Zen is still finding new skips, still explaining a lot, especially to new runners that are coming in. And is still actively running the game to this day. So this run wouldn't be possible at this point in time without Zen. And of course, to that extent, Mrs. Zen.
Yeah, and Mrs. Zen.
She's the real GOAT.
Nice. Any final plugs you wanted to give? Do you want to shout out where we can find you on the internets?
Yeah, if you're into FPS speedruns, you can follow me on Twitch. Same username as displayed. I recently beat the Daikatana any percent by over a minute, and I learned Painkiller any percent. So if you want to watch this, follow my Twitch.
Yep.
And shout outs to you. Very nice commentary. Very
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I couldn't have provided commentary nearly this good if I didn't have a runner like Balake to bounce off of. So thank you, Balake, for doing the commentary with me and helping to give the crowd a good show. It was a lot of fun.
No, it was great to be here. I'm glad that we could finally get some Rage representation in GDQ. It's been a long time coming.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Well, folks, all good things must come to an end, and so too it must be that Crosshair comes to an end this evening as well. But fear not, the GDQ Hotfix, which is also a good thing, is not over yet, because coming up next, we have speedruns from the crypt, so stick around for some spooky speedruns. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Crosshair, and for that, I have a little bit of homework for you, chat. For the next episode, I'm going to need you to guess your fanciest cape and wear it during the next episode. You'll see why when we get there. And I think that's going to be it for us. As always, folks, no matter what your dreams, goals, or hopes are in this world, always keep them in your crosshair. We'll see you next time.